Shalom, and welcome to Bible Stories as Blueprints of the Soul, your Biblical Hebrew podcast. Shalom and welcome to our Biblical Hebrew podcast. What is the connection between the book of Genesis and the book of Esther? Can it be that the story that appears in Genesis 3 repeats itself in a different edition in the book of Esther? Usually when people read the Bible, they tend to read the biblical story as different episodes. The book of Jonah is something else, Joseph and his brothers, and so on. When people read the biblical story as divided in different episodes, they read the Bible as a tree of knowledge. This is what they know, the little stories. But they cannot put everything together. The sages are offering us a different way to read the biblical story and the whole Bible, and the New Testament as well. If we abstract the Hebrew words and see the connection between the words, the letters that are composing the words, and the numbers beyond them, we can arrive to a portal that can give us a metacognition of the biblical story and life in general. In Genesis 3:21, God asks Adam, "Is that from the tree that I told you not to eat, you have eaten?" In Hebrew, "is that from the tree" comes in two words, Hamin, Ha'etz. Hamin, Ha'etz. Ha'etz, the tree. Hamin, is that from. The value of those two words, Hamin, Ha'etz, is 260, like 10 times the Tetragrammaton. 260 is the value of the word vineyard in Hebrew. Kerem. Kerem. And the vineyard has vine inside, and from the vine we make wine. So, what did God ask Adam? Did you eat from the tree itself and got drunk from the divine wisdom? Because the rest of the sentence is, who told you that you are naked? Who told? In other words, God asks Adam, the human spirit, meaning, did you consume the divine wisdom only for yourself? Because when a person consumes something and not share what he has, no air or space is left inside of him. This causes a person to increase his self-inflation on the account of an empty space that could be a space that other could exist in. Another interesting fact about this verse is the question of God to Adam. Who told? Who told you? In Hebrew, mi higid. Mi is who, and higid is told. Now God asks Adam, or the human spirit, who told you? But those two words, mi higid, who told, has the value of 72. And 72 is the name of God, the Tetragrammaton, when we write it with the filling of the letter Yod, with the divine wisdom. So, in a way, if we read this verse carefully, who told is not a question, it's basically a fact, it's a statement. Who? told you. The divine wisdom told you. So far, this is the pattern that comes from Genesis 3. Now, the question is, what is the relation of this story to the story that we read about in the book of Esther? Interestingly, we find that one of the main characters of the story is Haman. Haman is written with 3 letters. He, Mem, Nun. Those same letters can be read in a different punctuation or in different pronunciation, like the word Hamin. Is that from? And as the story follows, Haman had a plan to hang Mordechai on a tree. But his plan opposites itself on him, and he was hanged on the tree. So in the book of Esther, we find the same structure. Haman is not just the name of a character, it's just a pattern, a metacognition. And we shall find along the book of Esther always the relation between Haman and the tree. Ha'etz, the tree, and Haman. This is not a coincidence that this name, Haman, goes with a tree, because the sages say that Haman, the character who wanted or had a plan to kill all the people who love God, all the people who can testify of the infinite love. This was his plan because he thought that he is the wisest man on earth. The Lords are saying that his speciality was astronomy and astrology. He could calculate numbers, and he came from Persia. In Hebrew, Paras. Paras is not just a name, it's also a verb. Paras is to slice. When we slice things, we can measure them. Paras umadai. Madai is from midah, measure. Some people think that they have everything if they can calculate everything and they can slice everything into little pieces. They think in this way they have the absolute picture of the world. Once I watched a document about an island in the Mediterranean, Sardinia. People live there long life with blessing, and people wanted to research why in this specific place called Sardinia people have longer life than usual. And they brought specialists, the greatest specialist for blood test in Germany. And he was standing in front of the camera. He was saying that blood tells us everything about man. Through the blood, I can see everything. There's nothing that in the universe which is not manifested in the blood. He was so happy that he is the only one who knows everything by looking through a drop of blood. And they asked him, what? And they tested those people who live in Sardinia. They tested the blood and they come up with an interesting result that their blood test do not show any illnesses or deficiencies that people in their earthly age usually showing. Meaning, a person could be 90, 100, 110, and so on, but his blood tests are showing a blood test of a 20, 30-year-old guy, and they could not put their head around it. They couldn't understand why. They tried to see, is that the fact that they live a modest life or around the Mediterranean climate and they eat only what the season gives, not what they think that they should have now and the season does not give. They try to find earthly reason for this phenomenon. But the answer can be simple. People who live with the Spirit in them, the blood does not develop certain stuckness that people develop when they concrete themselves in certain lifestyle or certain kind of thinking. And to go back to the book of Esther, Haman, he was the character that he thought that he could measure and time and know everything. He's the person that has a database. This is how we speak in our times. Data. Do you have data? All intelligence services and companies are running after data. Data, farming data, is more desirable than to have oil or gold or any other currency in our times. Data farming is the future currency. But the book of Esther telling us again and again, and this is the time of the year which we read the book, that it's not only in the data, it's not only in the information, it's not only and specifically, it's not about counting, slicing, and measuring. It's something that we cannot forecast. It's the unknown. It's a potential of life that somehow managed to penetrate our life, turn them into a miracle. So this was our little conversation for today about the story of the garden, the book of Esther, the life in Sardinia, and our life here as humans on the blue planet. Shalom.
Thank you for listening to Bible Stories as Blueprints of the Soul. We hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you have any questions, comments, or would like to hear more about a certain topic, just write us an email to hebrew@learnoutlive.com. We are always happy to hear from you. For more episodes, videos, and articles like this, please visit our website at hebrew.learnoutlive.com. We also would like to invite you to join our live classes. Just search for Online College of Biblical Hebrew on Facebook and start learning now with students from all over the world. Koltuv and Shalom.